The only Christmas gift I need from you is to ignore my room, okay? We're ignoring my room. Ew! I'm gonna be doing that a lot, guys. You know that meme, that like joke thing that's like, and we'll tell scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. And it's like, dude who's never experienced Christmas before, accidentally, that's what's happening. A long time ago, because subscribers, they shut up a little bit. What can I say? And I had decided that I was going to do a special video for every 100th milestone. And I had already deemed 200 subscribers being telling ghost stories, because I love ghosts. I love the paranormal. I think it's super, super cool, and I definitely want to ghost hunt someday. This is my gateway over the summer, because I figured if trends were going to keep following in the way that they were with subscribers, I'd be at 200 in like the next month. So instead, we're telling Christmas ghost stories because Christmas just happened. It's fine. Happy 200 subscribers. Thank you guys for doing that. That was like the first week of December. That was very beautiful, and I love you guys so much for that. This is the 200 subscriber special. We need to make it dark in here. Ooh, spooky. Have you ever been cold on a dark winter's night? Have you ever saw the bibs to give you a fright? I hope you guys know the reference.
On a winter's night? Have you ever wore pants that were just too tight?
Okay, welcome to the Reddit stories. Hey guys, it's been pinned on my TikTok for months. Share your ghost stories. Guys, none of you did that. It's fine. It's fine. I didn't want to have to turn to Reddit, but here we are. And I put it on dark mode. You said it at my birthday dinner. Oh wait, from Fallen Coward 1225 a year ago. My family and I returned home from our vacation, and it was late at night. Dark, spooky night, oh no. We were unloading the car and in different places in our front yard. I was on our porch, and my husband and 2 children were in the process of getting bags from the car in our driveway when our dog started to bark. Welcome to the horror movie, okay? There's a couple. We don't know. Don't assume a wife, okay? It's 2025. There's a couple, there's children, there's a car, they're unloading it, and a dog's barking at something. We all simultaneously looked towards him and then in the direction of his view. Of course, as you do for a dog. We all 4 very clearly saw a shadow figure of what appeared to be an old man in a hat. Kind of like a railroad conductor vibe, walking from the front of our yard to the back. No. Our dog followed but would not go into the dark backyard. We all just looked at each other like, what the f***? And we all agree on the details. I did my own lighting tests to see if we had actually seen a real shadow of someone, but the lighting and the position/location where this took place were not in alignment for that. 4 people, we all saw the same thing. Ew. I'm gonna be doing that a lot, guys. Okay, don't look in the mirror behind me, please. I gave myself chills. When everyone agrees on it, that is when I completely and utterly draw the line. That's like, no. That's a big no. IKLAF? Maybe? I have so many stories. I'll share the earliest remembered experience that I have. We were at home, and my cousins and I were in the living room playing video games, as you do with your cousins, I think. I didn't really grow up with cousins. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw movement, so I turned and looked. As you do, there was a woman in knee-length dress walking towards my parents' room. Hey, were you alone? Ew, oh my god. She stopped in her tracks and turned to look my way. It scared me. She was transparent. She had dark hair cut into a bob. She was slender. Shut up. I turned away from her, but could still see her watching me for what felt like a really long time from the corner of my eye, and it was probably only seconds. I hate when seconds feel like a million years. Then she turned away and walked into my parents' room. My parents came home about an hour later and called me and my cousins into their room to ask who had been in there. We told them that no one went in there. All of their plugs had been unplugged. A couple of years later, I saw a picture of a woman and told my mom that's who I saw that night when all of the electronics were unplugged. She told me the photo was of her mother, who had passed away when I was only a year old. So you saw your grandma walk into your mom's room and she unplugged all of the electronics. Did she know something? Okay, I see Ouija board. So we're gonna do the story and I'm going, hey, unusual object 6543. I'm gonna guess you probably shouldn't have played with the Ouija board. I do not recommend anybody do it. Okay? Are we all on the same page here? Okay. I've never done it. I'm never going to do it. I don't care that you can just buy it at a Barnes & Noble. I'm not touching it. When I was 17, I noticed things moving on their own when I went to sleep. I'll sleep really well tonight, thank you. I played the Ouija board when I was 18 and had very vivid and real sensations and feelings. I'm sure you did. I remember the planchette oscillated between Z and O. It felt like electricity or warmth. It's hard to explain, but I was communicating with it. I believe you. Went to a psychic and she knew what was going on immediately. Psychics are so insane. We'll get whatever. I was getting bad dreams from that point. I was so mesmerized by the board that I played it often. I started talking to this voice in my head. Oh, brought it to a dorm in uni, and I remember my roommate told me she had a bad dream about me where I was tearing down her decorations and trying to kill her. I was spooked. So you have a demon. I'm gonna let you know that right now. Ever since then, I have had a rough time getting diagnosed with schizoaffective bipolar type, and at one point an addiction to weed and alcohol. Things are getting better now, but I'll never forget what happened to me. Yeah, that's a demon. You got a demon in go to like the usual doctor stuff, but I'd also like get that exercised, you know? Like I feel like there's other steps to that. Sunzy215, what's this about? I got so many, but here's one of my top creepiest ones that I experienced. When I was 16, I was home alone, so I invited my friend over to hang out. We were in my room watching videos on my PC. I was lying on my bed, and he was on the computer chair right in front of the screen. All of a sudden, he flew forward and hit his face on the monitor. It looked like he got tackled from behind. He turned around and asked me if I did that, and I said no. So he immediately said he has to leave. He doesn't want anything to do with ghosts. Then he started running downstairs to leave, but I was begging him to stay because I was home alone and scared as fuck. I'm not even home alone and I'm scared. I'm in front of my monitor, dude. When I get scared, fun fact about me, I need my back completely covered. I need to stand up against a wall, whatever. Well, immediately after he left, I shut the door and go to the bathroom to pee. As I'm peeing, a whole roll of toilet paper unraveled right before my eyes, and I got so scared I ran out of the bathroom. I stayed in my room until I heard my aunt come home. Yeah. When I walked downstairs, she was picking up the toilet paper. She said, I guess the ghost dropped this again. But I didn't tell her I witnessed it because I didn't want to get in trouble for leaving it there and leaving the light on and not flushing. It was a strict household. Lol. Yeah. But that house was so haunted that we would hear people walking in the basement up the stairs to our kitchen. And it got so frequent that we put the refrigerator in front of the basement door just to block it. Okay. Excellent _card 6654. Just a little backstory. I'm from Hawaii and grew up in, is it pronounced Kona? Probably not. Kona? Oh. Ignore me. On the Big Island. We have, I have lacking Hawaii knowledge. But, sorry. We have a lot of legends of supernatural beings and events. Awesome. So keep that in mind when reading this story. This is only one of the many things that I experienced, but definitely the most memorable. Okay. When I was about 6 or so, my family and I were taking a little staycation and rented a little cabin in Volcano. It's about 2/3 of the way to the other side of the island, but very rural as opposed to Kona, or is it Hilo or Hilo? I don't know. Sorry. My uncle lived only 10 or so miles away and was the only one who helped us book the reservation. Great. The cabin was located a couple miles down a service road in a small clearing surrounded by trees and had bay windows that faced the mountain. That sounds beautiful. So you could see the sunrise. Can I go there? There was a master bedroom downstairs with a large loft up top that my sister and I immediately claimed upon arrival. I would too. Later that evening, after a day of shopping in Hilo and dinner at my uncle's, we arrived back at the cabin exhausted. While walking inside, I felt a strange feeling as if I was being watched. But when I looked around, there was nothing in sight. That's always how it goes. I tried to tell my mom, but was told that it was just my imagination and that it was time for bed. Reluctantly, we showered and headed up to the loft, where we promptly fell asleep. Around 2 a.m., I woke up to the sound of drums and what felt like, oh my god, hands around my neck, but I couldn't see anyone there. I panicked and tried to call for my mom, but I couldn't. I could only cough as I struggled for air before losing consciousness. What felt like only a few moments later, I woke up in an ambulance on the way to the hospital. What? As they rushed me inside, I kept asking for my mom and sister, but I was told that I'd be able to see them after we checked out by the doctor and we finished speaking to the police. It was only a few minutes later when the police officer came in and asked me what I remembered. They asked how I got the bruises on my neck, and I told them that something had choked me, but I didn't see who it was. After they left, my mom was finally let in the room, and when I asked what happened, she told me that she had a dream that someone was trying to take me away. And then when she woke up to check on me, she found me unconscious and called 911. No. Needless to say, we checked out of the cabin early and didn't go back. Later on, we found out that the cabin was directly built on the path of the night marchers, spirits of ancient warriors from Hawaiian times of old. That's like the one thing about ghosts. It's like, oh, they can't hurt you, they can't touch you. I mean, they can in certain ways. But you were actually unconscious, rushed to the hospital. You had bruises on your... that gives me like the worst image in my brain ever. I feel like that's a good amount of stories for me to start getting into my personal stories. Let's transition into that. Did that work? Boom. Yeah. Okay. So those were low-key terrifying in many different ways. And I was glad for a time I couldn't see what was behind me, and now I'm in a prison. So we're going to tell my own personal stories. So I'm going to talk about most recent real quick. Because it's not that intense. I'm just saying personally, not to dox myself too heavily, I'm from the Midwest. And the school I'm going to is in the South. Still, I'm not doxing myself fully here. It is in the South, and I looked it up. At least the list I had found called the town that I now go to school in the most haunted city in America. I would believe it. Very much so. My class met in a cemetery. So I think you get it. You understand, right? And I just want to say, from a standpoint of coming from just some place in the Midwest, that, I mean, it has its haunted locations. I feel like every place does, but it is not so rich as this town that's supposed to be #1 most haunted city in America, according to one list I looked at. Just like the different atmosphere. And it's so weird because I mean, you're doing stuff, you're focusing. I don't know, maybe you can't relate. Camera I'm talking to. Maybe you can't relate, maybe you can. You'll see stuff out of the corner of your eye move, or you'll just like feel like, oh, there's somebody who just like walked past the doorway. Those are all normal things because as humans we are made to like know when things are around us, you know. Our eyes are forward, we have peripherals, whatever. And I get that sometimes. And like here at home, I'll get that and I'll look and there's a person there. Oh my God, the amount of times at school I have been doing my work, the door to like the hallway's been open, and I'm just like, my head's down, like the person in the doorway has been there for so long, and I look up and there's nobody there. I cannot begin to tell you the amount of times that's happened to me. And it just like that type of vibe happens so much more. There's not just like an overall, like I don't have very outstanding ghost stories yet, you know. Truly believe that it's something different because of the stories in this town. You know, as a dorm works, you make friends with the other people in the dorm, and there's one person, and the fact that they are definitely a medium, psychic, some type of, and they know that, and they have said many a time stepping foot into this city is like, it's a game changer. Like, it's just so intense for them. Makes sense to me. They have a doll. She's chilling, but still there's something in her. I'm gonna say that right here and now. I guess that room, some other people, I don't know, I wasn't there, they had like the spirit box thing. They were just talking with the doll, whatever, and I know that was my mom, but I just heard a sound and I was like, please they were talking with the doll, whatever ghost hunting stuff they were doing, whatever. It was a bit of a group of them, but as soon as it started to go in kind of a weird, like, bad way, so they cut it off. They're like, nope, we're not doing that. I hear about it. I'm like, oh, that's cool, because they all know that I'm ghost obsessed and I'm so happy to be in the city, whatever. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened, because I honestly like forgot until like a little bit ago. So I'm trying to remember the exact notes. But I do remember I was in my room, because the dorm, it has like separate like bedrooms. Completely and entirely heard someone walking around in like our living area space, because this was like the dorm and then the bedrooms. And I thought maybe somebody was like walking from, because there's two bedrooms. I thought someone was walking from the other one like to the bathroom. It's kind of how it's laid out. And I even saw underneath the door the shadow pass by, and I opened the door to a completely empty dorm, and I felt the most overwhelming feeling of dread that I closed the door, and I even heard that shit running back to where it was, and I was like, that's not happening. Now my next like low level ish stories are my best friend growing up. She had a house, she lived in a house in like the historical district of our town. Yeah, it's haunted. I say that with my full and complete chest. It was either like is it called Squirt? Or am I just gonna be saying Squirt a lot for no reason? Sprite, Squirt, I don't know. A clear green bottle, whatever. You get the gist. She had this little table. She had like two beautiful like clothing things, and in between was like her little circle mirror, and then a little table that was like low to the ground. She kept like her makeup and stuff there, whatever. There was a little bit of room on it. She put her bottle on it, and we were sitting on her bed. Now, visualize the room. It's kind of a weird shaped room, whatever. This is a room. Here, let's say, is where bottle is. Here, let's say, is where bed. Sure, kind of. There's some distance. It's enough for us to like walk. It's a walkway in the room, you know how those are. We are 2 children sitting on the bed. And we're just like sitting, talking. And we could probably both swear on our lives that here, I have a cup right here. And you know what? You could make all of the claims you want in the world of, oh, the bottle wasn't all the way on the thing. This is what this bottle did. And I'm being so dead serious. That did not just tip over. It went up and over and then straight down. And I mean that with every fiber of my being. Here's the big kahunas. The one that is making me believe that I will need to like have some lights on bed rot time before I continue on with my night. Because I cannot believe I'm telling this story again. I was 9 years old. I think. Maybe. About. If I was 9, then my brother was at least 11. And then it was my mom. I don't know. Mom was like, we're going to have a sleepover in the living room. Cool. Great. Let's do it. We're sleeping over in the living room. There's the main, like, the big couch that's in front of the window that leads into the backyard. The TV is across the room against the wall from the big couch. And then we have, like, the love seat, like the smaller couch. Like, here is big couch, here is love seat. You get it? So here's me, mom, and brother. We're going to have a sleepover in the living room. We are fun and exciting. I remember we were sitting and watching TV. I was on the love seat. I didn't really want to be on the love seat, but I was laying on the love seat. We're watching TV, and then mom's like, okay, we're at bedtime. And then I remember being like, we were going to sleep right here. Because I did not want to sleep on the love seat. I don't remember why I didn't want to. Just knew I did not want to sleep on the love seat. Was not in the cards for me. I wasn't having it. So I was already kind of like pissed. I was like, are you kidding me? I have to have the love seat alone. You and my brother get to share the couch, and I have to have the love seat alone. Okay, just say you hate me. That was me at 9 years old. So instead, that led to I cannot fall asleep, actually. We cannot even fall asleep. So we have our windows across the back. We have a lot of trees lining the back of our backyard and a road right there. So the cars are driving on that road with their headlights, casting beautiful shadows through the branches and the trees onto the wall that I have to look at. And I'm like, that's spooky. I don't like it, because it was like making faces and stuff where I was like, it was like, that looks like a witch. And like, and that's how I know, because like, of course, when I tell people this, they're like, well, you definitely were asleep. And I'm like, I 1,000,000% was not, because I was watching the cars drive by and watching the lights dance across the wall. And I vividly remember doing that for a while. Here's the big couch. Here's the love seat. This is where I'm sleeping. My head is here, okay? I'm looking at the wall here. That's over here. So the window's behind me here. I remember turning over and looking out the window. It's 3 windows next to each other. And in the middle window is a tall figure standing in my backyard. He's very tall. I remember I'm like, I slowly like scan up. He's completely like shadow figure to the max. There's no features. He is just darkness that looks human. And I was looking up, and I saw it was definitely like a suit more than anything, and like his collar was like kind of long. There was no neck, no head. I'm being completely and utterly dead serious. Completely. That's what I turned around to see, standing in my backyard. A headless shadow figure. Pretty chill, I know. So I turn back over, because I'm not looking at that. Hey, I'm not looking at that. And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Because my mom is a little bit too far away. She's actually closer to that thing. What do I do? That's all that's replaying in my head. So and as I'm staring back at the wall, not looking behind me, that was something that was in my brain. I was like, don't look at it again, don't look at it again, don't look at it again. There was a bang on the window. It was an earth-shattering bang. It was so loud it echoed through the living room. And I was like, it wants in. I was terrified, dude. I was 9 years old. I was like, okay, cool. So if I can't see it, it can't see me. I remember that was really big in my brain. So I roll onto the floor and I pull one of these. I'm so sneaky spy. And I crawl on the floor, covering my face so I don't look at it. And I shake my mom awake. And I'm like, I can't sleep. I saw something so weird. I saw, like, it was really creepy. I'm really scared. Of course, Mom's like, you had a bad dream. And I'm like, Mom, I haven't slept tonight. You and brother, snoozing, Z's flying through the air, me, awake. So I was like, no, we have a problem here. Okay, there's an issue going on. And I remember my mom just getting up like there was nothing going on, and I was like freaking out like no, like there's an issue going on. And then we had 2 dogs at the time. She opened the back door and let the dogs have to go pee. Oh, I've never been more terrified in my life. I literally was on the couch like, you just let the dogs outside. You just let the dogs outside. There's terrified. We're at this hotel thing. And so it's 2 beds. So my parents are on 1 bed and me and my brother. Again, I still think I'm 9, honestly. I don't think I got that much older. So we're sharing a bed, and it was another night where I could not fall asleep. I was tossing and turning like you would not believe, and nothing was working. I could not fall asleep. And I want to say there was a bright, like very bright light coming from the window, because there was a window right next to me once again. It was more of like a motel type of layout where like the hallways were outside. if that makes sense. So like there was the window. So could very easily just car lights, you know. We've dealt with this before. Like we get it. But it stayed for so long and it kept getting brighter. I was like, that is insane. What are we so weird, you know? Like what is this about? That's crazy. So I just remember tossing and turning, being like, that's freaky. Don't know what that's about. And tossing and turning, blah blah blah, until I land on my back. And I see in front of me, like at my eyes, the end of the bed. Bear with me now. Everyone hold my hand. There were feet, eye level with me, at the end of my bed that I was sharing with my brother. And they were dark, shadowy again. I heard the sound of like the sound that a rope makes, like a thick rope makes when it's like, I heard that sound. And the feet were kind of like swinging a little bit. Ew, I feel so uncomfortable right now. And this is once again, I was slowly looking up, and it was again like a shadow figure of like the feet and the legs, and I look up and it just kind of disappears into the shadows. Like the room's really dark, of course. It just kind of like disappears at the top. So once again, I cannot see a neck or head, but I couldn't really see much of the top of the body. Really just the feet hanging in front of me, swaying with the sound of a rope creaking. I'm 9. I'm in the hotel room. My brother's asleep beside me. I'm 9 years old. My parents are asleep. There's a bright light in the window. I'm 9 years old. Mind you, I'm 9 years old. So I promptly look at my brother, sound asleep, and I throw that comforter right on over my head, and I go, this is where we're staying tonight. I eventually pass out. Lack of oxygen? Who knows? I woke up amazed. Like, I lived? Genuinely, that was like kind of low-key my reaction. Like, damn. Something about that interaction, I knew it was the same thing. Shadow figure in my backyard without a head. Shadow figure at the end of my bed hanging. I just knew it had to be the same guy. And if you want me to read more haunted Reddit stories, if you guys have stories of your own that you want me to read, let me know. This can continue to be. This is just the 200 subscriber special. It doesn't have to be a one-time thing. I can do this all the time. Hey, you attract what you're afraid of? No, do not take me to a haunted location. Please, don't do it. Don't put me in the Estes method. Oh my god, no, please, don't. You cannot do that to me, please. Please. Thank you guys so much for 200 subscribers. It is really, seriously awesome. I'm going to brainstorm what 300 subscribers should be. What that milestone video should look like, what I should do. Feel free to leave me any hints or ideas for what that should be. Love you guys. Subscribe.